Hi everyone, and welcome back to our channel. I'm doing something a little different with this video, and I hope you like it. And if so, I'll continue to do a few this way. Instead of just showing us driving around while playing some background music, I'm going to give you a little information about the places we are visiting. So if you enjoy the video, please hit that like button and give us a comment. In this video, we are heading to the Wichita Mountain Wildlife Refuge. It is located outside of Cache and Lawton Fort Sill area in the southwest corner of Oklahoma. This actually was videoed back in October of 2023. It was a little cold that day, so we didn't stop to look at anything. We had one destination in mind, and I'll tell you more about it when we get a little closer. The girls even decided it was too cold for them that day, so they rode in our chase vehicle, or their grandparents, who decided to join us that day. I'm in the lead today for most of this trip. I think Curtis cuts in front for a few minutes later on. I grew up close to here, and the mountains were a good place for a quick Saturday trip, so we came here often. And because of that, I know this place pretty well, and it holds a lot of special memories for me. So the Wichita Mountain Wildlife Refuge is approximately 60,000 acres of nationally protected lands that include mixed grass prairie, granite mountains, freshwater lakes, and streams. It is managed by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, providing free open range to buffalo, Texas longhorn cattle, and elk herds, as well as white-tailed deer. Once inside the cattle guard, don't be surprised to see the buffalo and longhorn walking down the road right next to you, or standing just off to the side grazing. The elk tend to stay away from the roads and people and stay closer to the mountain's edge, so they can be a little more difficult to spot. On this trip, we didn't see any of the animals. I think they get rotated to different pastures during the cooler months, and so they're not out in the public access areas as much. Only a small portion of the refuge is open to the public, and the rest is just for the animals. A little history on the buffalo herd that lives in the mountains. After their numbers suffered greatly nationwide from encroaching settlements and overhunting, efforts were made to help repopulate the wild buffalo herds. The first director of the Wildlife Conservation Society, William T. Hornaday, and President Theodore Roosevelt formed the American Bison Society at the Bronx Zoo. On October 11, 1907, they picked 15 bison to leave that breeding program and boarded a train to cross the country to Oklahoma. When they arrived in Cache, Oklahoma, they were greeted by many, including the Comanche chief, Quanah Parker. They were then loaded in huge crates on wagons where they traveled 13 more miles into the refuge. They were released to freedom and began to flourish on the prairie grassland. They remain protected and free to roam today. Off to the right is one of the many lakes in the mountains, Caddo Lake. This lake has some beautiful photography opportunities with Elk Mountain in the distance. Lots of animals make the mountains their homes. Many bird species, including migratory birds and also lizards such as mountain boomers. Off to the right is Doris Campground. They offer several electric and non-electric sites. Most are big enough for RV or trailer. They also have semi-primitive and walk-in tent sites. It's located by the Quanah-Parker Lake and is an easy walk to see the lake. If we had continued going straight, we would have gone to Cache, Oklahoma. By turning left, we continue to drive through the refuge. The Fish and Wildlife Services work hard to manage the refuge through controlled burns, stopping the spread of invasive species, controlled hunts, reservoir management, and teaching the public. Many people enjoy hiking, fishing, camping, picnics, and photography. Here on the left is the Quanah Parker Nature and Visitor Center. This is a good place to look through. It has many exhibits on wildlife and habitat. There are interactive displays, artworks, videos, and a gift shop. The Jed Johnson Lake is towards the left, and just a little ways past is a road that goes to the holy city of the Wichitas. It was built in 1934 by Reverend Anthony Mark Wallach, who was inspired by the beautiful Wichita Mountains to build his vision of Jerusalem and the Holy Land. There are walking paths to most of the structures and buildings, as well as a small gift shop. They put on a really good Easter pageant there each year. I have not been there for a couple of years, but it is definitely worth the detour. By turning left, we are about to head outside of the refuge for a little bit. We will basically make a big loop around Lake Latonka and find our way back to this point here in a little while. Up ahead is the Parallel Forest, which is an interesting sight and offers some easy hiking. The entrance and parking lot is to the right. This forest was planted by the government in the early 1900s to help counteract the effects of the Dust Bowl by blocking the strong prairie winds. They planted over 20,000 red cedar trees. These trees were strategically planted 6 feet apart in every direction and spread over 16 acres. They were planted to grow straight up, leading to the name of the Parallel Forest. The forest was abandoned and never harvested before it became under the protection of the refuge. There are rumors that this forest is haunted, and I can speak from experience that it is sometimes a little eerie to stand in. I'm not sure if it's because everything is lined up in such an unnatural way, or if it's because of the way the wind sings through the cedars. There is also a weird circular stone structure inside the forest that has puzzled many for decades. It can be found left of the entrance next to the creek. Although many have come up with ideas to what it might have been, some have speculated it is where witches used to, and may still to this day, perform spells and sacrifices. Just a little interesting folklore. Or is it? I'll let you decide for yourself. Now on to our destination. Up ahead is the small town of Mears. It was once a gold mining town, but like most mining towns, when the minerals to mine are gone, so are the towns. The main attraction is a little restaurant that was established in 1901. It is just a little burger joint that fed the mining community during its peak. It is about the only thing that has survived the test of time. The Mears store and restaurant has been named Best Burger in Oklahoma and made the list for top 10 burgers in America. The hamburger meat is from Texas Longhorn beef that is raised on the family ranch. Not only are the burgers worth going for, but the building is also very unique. The walls are decorated with lots of old memorabilia, with some of it dating back to when the building was new. With this, however, it is very important to remember that this building is very old and has not had many updates. For me, this adds to the uniqueness, but for some, I'm sure it could be very off-putting. Just know it is very rustic. Back to the food, because we are all foodies and tend to base our travels on restaurants in the area. I recommend the Seismic Burger or the Mears Burger. The Mears Burger is a pretty typical cheeseburger, but the Seismic is big with onions and jalapenos. They are all served on a metal pie plate, and the drinks come in quart mason jars. Plan to share if you get the Seismic or even if you get the Mears Burger, because you do not want to miss dessert. The go-to is always cobbler, and it doesn't matter the flavor that you go with. I love the cherry, Curtis usually goes for the pecan when they have it, or the blackberry, and the peach is also a favorite. Top it with homemade ice cream and you will not regret it. Again, we usually choose to share a couple of these among the four of us. I didn't get any shots of the inside of the building that day because it was incredibly busy. That reminds me, don't go if you're absolutely starving, because most likely you will have to wait in line for quite some time. Sometimes over an hour, but it's well worth the wait. When we left Mears, we headed back out towards Lake Latonka, and eventually to Medicine Park. Unfortunately, the bikes don't run on burgers and cobbler like we do, and so we needed to find some fuel. This is also a neat area, but I'm not going to go into much detail on this video. I'll save that for another time. So enjoy some music and scenery while we get back to the refuge. have to watch out everywhere. This little doe came out of nowhere, and I am so glad Curtis was in front at that moment. Up ahead is Mount Scott, standing at 2,464 feet above sea level. Now, I know what some of y'all are thinking, that's not very tall. But when the tallest point, Oklahoma, is only 4,973 feet, and that's all the way in the Panhandle, we tend to be pretty proud of our little mountain here. There is a 3-mile paved road to drive or bicycle to the top of Mount Scott, where there is a parking lot and a couple of overlook areas. Unofficial hiking trails are also available if you want to experience it on foot. The view from the top is absolutely amazing, no matter how you get there. I've been to the top while on motorcycle many times, but the Harleys have not been there yet. Definitely a bucket list item for this spring or summer. And now we're back from our loop. Turning left would take us back to the parallel forest and Mears. I'll play some music for the remainder of this video as we drive back the way we came. Just off to the right is one of my favorite places to stop in the mountains. It's the Prairie Dog Town. We didn't stop today because it was cold and most of them would be tucked away in their burrows. On a nice warm summer day, they will scurry about going in and out of their underground burrows, nibbling on grasses, grooming each other, and standing up to bark. Barking is one of the ways they communicate to warn others of possible danger. Definitely a great area to stop. Thank you everyone for watching. Please give us a like or a comment. It really helps us get noticed by the YouTube algorithm and helps me know what kind of content you like to see.